I'm Mary, a housewife living in a double family house with my in-laws. I met my husband John when we were in college, and we were together for 5 years before we got married. For the first 2 years of our marriage, we lived together in an apartment. However, my parents-in-law strongly requested that we build a double family house. I had seen my in-laws many times since my husband and I started dating. Both of my parents-in-law were kind and always treated me well. So the proposal to build a double family house was accepted easily. The house has 2 entrances, and you have to go outside to get to the other house. So we have our own space, but can also help each other if needed. My parents lived far away, so I was grateful to have them live close by. For the first 6 months after moving, I think we had a good relationship as I imagined. One day, I got hives all over my body. At the beginning, it was just slightly. It happened when my parents-in-law, my husband and I went out for dinner. We went to a restaurant. My mother-in-law and I arrived at the restaurant early, but we were looking at a menu to order before the others arrived. My mother-in-law wanted to order a dish with cilantro on it.
Sol said, "Mother, John hates cilantro, so let's ask the restaurant to remove it."
This was it. My mother-in-law didn't know that her son doesn't eat cilantro.
What? What is that? Are you trying to say that you know John better than me?
What? I don't remember her ever being like this. If it felt like time had stopped for a moment. I still remember the moment when my mother-in-law's face, which had always been kind to me, turned devilish. My father-in-law and John arrived shortly thereafter. The dinner ended peacefully, as if my mother-in-law's earlier comment had never happened. After that day, my mother-in-law started harassing me every day. I knew how much she loved John, but this was more than I had imagined. By the way, I know John was never a man. That's the only thing that saved me. Ding Dong Dantes is a Filipino actor, model, producer, director, and politician. He was born on August 2, 1980, in Manila, Philippines. Every morning, around 10:00 a.m., John for work. Then, my mother-in-law would come over to harass me.
Oh, it's such a beautiful day, but you haven't done the laundry yet. Lazy wife.
At first, she started by being picky with my housework. In the beginning, I didn't expect her to come every day. Managed to get by with a joke, but it gradually gets too far.
Hey, when are you going to get divorced? A wife like you pisses everyone here. I think the only mistake in John's life is marrying you.
I tried my best not to grab a thick book to shut her mouth. I just smiled and let the sarcasm roll off my face for a few hours until my shirt was dry. When she saw that no damage had been made, she even changed her attitude when she saw checked here. She started talking to John in a cat-like voice. This voice made me feel uncomfortable and even gave me goosebumps. I was so tired that seriously considered getting a thick book to prop up my head. My husband's reaction to my mother-in-law was gentle, a little annoyed. But as usual,
I feel sorry for Johnny that you are serving him this kind of food. Johnny leaves early in the morning because he wants to spend less time with you.
Before I knew it, she started calling him Johnny. That's not what you should be sorry for. Whatever it is that you did, this person really needs to up their game. As a peace lover, I tried my best not to see her as possible. I would go out when she was coming, then she would not stop calling me. When I came back, she'd be standing in front of the house and yell at me. I knew I couldn't run away anymore. I didn't want to let John know about this because I hate drama, so my body collapsed into a fit of hives. At that time, I did think about telling John, but my mother-in-law changed to a kind mother as she used to be before in front of her son. What a monster! A cunning woman would be a fox, but mother-in-law's body shape, a raccoon more suitable for her. I wondered how to explain this monstrous raccoon to John and his father. Even if I told them honestly, they might not believe me. Couldn't take any action. My father-in-law had always treated me and my mother-in-law as a close couple. He would be devastated. If I could just endure a few hours of the mean monster raccoon every day, that would be better. Maybe my mother-in-law would get tired of bullying me too. One day, while I was thinking about this, John had to go to a dinner with clients and left his car at the office, so he took a cab home. His boss had arranged for him to come to work in the afternoon the next day because he couldn't use the car. John woke up around the time he usually got out of bed, and we had breakfast together. He was always rushing around so it was nice to spend time together morning. I made a little more luxurious breakfast than usual. John is a salesman, so he's good at entertaining people by telling them stories about what happened. So I laughed while he told us about the dinner night. After breakfast, he went to the bathroom. Ding dong, my mother-in-law came over. She must have thought her son was gone because the car wasn't there. As soon as she opened the door, she started talking like a machine gun.
There are leaves all over the front of the house. Can you even clean up properly? Go clean up the mess. What the hell, it's gross here, just like you, bitch. Did you grow up in a pigsty? Just get divorced. Oh my.
Mother, I'm not a child anymore.
Should I tell her John was still here? Is it better if John finds out on his own? Or should I tell him so that he doesn't find out later and be upset with me for not telling him earlier? My mother-in-law noticed that I was surprised and weird by the situation that she started saying,
What? Are you trying to talk back to me?
"It's now or never," I thought.
Mother, please forgive me. I will do my best.
I replied weakly, intentionally sounding like I was about to cry. Then my mother-in-law's bullying raccoon mold kicked into top gear.
What do you mean? I do my best, I said. You are doing nothing. It's useless. You are useless.
I tried to sound like I was about to cry even more.
Oh, please don't.
Was starting to enjoy it more and more.
Don't touch me, you pigsty bitch. How many times should I say it? Warn you! Can't imagine that my Johnny has to eat your pig foolish meals. Just divorce my Johnny. I don't care if it's a monkey or a pig as long as it's not you.
You call me a pigsty woman, but you'd care if your son marry a pig? What a nonsense. I was trying so hard not to burst out laughing. That's when it happened. We heard the sound of the toilet water flushing. My mother-in-law looked at me like I was crazy. I got down on the floor and hit my face because I was about to collapse with laughter.
Mom, what was that?
John came out of the bathroom. My mother-in-law turned pale when she saw the face of her son, who was mad like a demon.
John, why are you here?
That's my question too. Why are you here and what are you doing?
No, just...
Today is afternoon shit. Why are you saying such horrible things to Mary? You always seem to get along so with her. What's going on?
I was on the floor, glancing at my husband. He looked like some kind of American.
No, it's not what you think. I was just teaching her because she did her duty well.
Saying you hate her, get a divorce, and called her a pig is telling her how to do housework. I heard everything you said. This isn't the first time today, huh? Even if it's you, Mom, this is unforgivable.
You set me up, man.
My mother-in-law grabbed me by the arm and tried to pull me up.
Mother, stop it.
If I show my face now, she'll know I was laughing.
Stop it, Mom. Just get out of here.
My mother-in-law was yelled at by her favorite Johnny, and she stepped out of the room, sobbing. Soon after, my laughter subsided, and I sat up, making a face like I was crying. John wiped my tears, saying, "I'm so soul." But they were the tears I was holding from laughing. "I'm so sorry." I told my husband everything that had happened, that she visits me every morning at this time, that the hives were not serious at first, but her bullying made them worse, and now my whole body is covered in them.
I'm sorry I didn't realize how hard it had been for you. It won't happen anymore. You don't have to put up with it. I'll think about how to handle this. My mom might come over today, so will you go out until I get home?
My husband's words brought tears to her again. By the way, these are tears of joy. I am so glad that I married this man. At the same time, I wondered how such a wonderful man was born from that mother. I muttered to myself, a monster raccoon gave birth to a Pegasus. After that, we left the house. I had lunch and went to karaoke. What a wonderful afternoon. I felt refreshed from the first time in a long time. My mother-in-law was calling and texting me like a demon. I replied that I would forward the emails to John and I would let him listen to her voice message. This time, I got 3 times as many 8 messages. I guess she has a lot of free time on her hands. Then, after John finished work, we went to dinner together.
He said, let's talk to mom and dad about this. Let's move out of that house. I don't know what my dad would say, but if we sell the house now, I think we've saved a lot on the loan. I don't think you want to see them anymore, so I'll be the one to talk. I'm really sorry about everything.
He was so nice that I felt guilty of the fake cry. Then we went to their house. The moment we arrived home, my dog started to bark at me with a very scary face, but I replied with my best smile.
Johnny, listen to me. It was really a mistake this morning. I know.
She kept making excuses, but John ignored her and said,
Dad, can you sit down for a minute? Need to talk to you.
My father-in-law looked at him strangely, but he sat down at the dining table with his son. While John was telling him what had happened, my father-in-law looked at him with a stare, as if he couldn't believe what he was hearing. And my mother-in-law was crying the 5th time.
Mary, I want to apologize to you too. I'm really sorry. What my wife did is unforgivable. Bullying is not something an adult should do. This is the responsibility for both of us.
My father-in-law said, shrugging his shoulders.
You should apologize properly too.
He told my mother-in-law and made her head.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
My mother-in-law cried and apologized, saying she had been chanting a curse in a small voice. It sounded a little like a curse, and I was scared.
We are moving out too. Agree to sell the house. It's definitely better to keep our physical distance. I'll pay the short on the loan so you two don't have to worry about money.
Then my mother-in-law started screaming at the child.
No way. I won't do it again. I promise. Don't leave me, Johnny.
Just shut your mouth. Do you think we have the choice? You are the one who caused it.
When my father-in-law scolded her, she stopped saying anything. It's a big deal for my father-in-law to shout so loudly. My father-in-law and my husband are so kind. I've never seen them so angry.
Thank you, Dad. I do the application. I will call you when it's settled.
Thank you, Father.
Everything that I had been holding back so long was resolved in one day. I was so tired that I went home and fell asleep immediately. It was the first time in a long time that I could sleep so well without worrying about the next day. I went to my friend's place so that I wouldn't have time to be alone at home. We decided where to go. I had hives all over my body, but the day after I fought off my mother-in-law, they disappeared. The human body is so amazing. I guess the illness comes from inside. A week later, We signed a contract for a flat near John's office. Now I feel like a newlywed again. John and I are getting along peacefully. I still get a little nervous when the doorbell rings in the morning when I'm home alone because of the trauma. However, I'm slowly getting back to the way things were before we moved into the double family house. I heard that my in-laws have also started living together in an apartment. Fortunately, the house sold for a good price, and they were able to pay off the remaining balance on their loan using my father-in-law's savings. My mother-in-law was depressed for a while and stopped doing household chores. But my father-in-law got angry with her, and she went back to her duties. Furthermore, he is planning to make my mother-in-law work part-time, telling her there is still unpaid on the house. It felt sorry for the people at the part-time job because they would have a hard time. My father-in-law won't let my mother-in-law know our new house. That fact alone is enough to make me safe. I saw my mother-in-law for the first time in a long time at my sister-in-law's wedding the other day. I hadn't seen her in a few months, but she had lost a lot of weight. It tried to have a short conversation with her, but she got scared and ran away. V saw me. The timing John went to the bathroom time was really a miracle. I can spend the morning relaxed, doing chores without the doorbell ringing. It is the only thing that gives me peace of mind every day. For the first time in a long time, I feel happy.